It's about a 12 to 14-hour flight from San Francisco to Tokyo. The plane is approaching, my first view of Tokyo. On my first day, I went to a grocery store with my friend. My first time in a Japanese grocery store. You have to bag your own groceries. At least that's one option. On a ride back to my friend's apartment, many Japanese do not have cars, and they use public transportation as their main means of getting around. Train to, where did we go? We went to Yamanashi and Kofu. It was about a 1 to 2 hour train ride. Very long train ride, but it was very interesting for me to see the views from the train window. A lot of trees in Japan, as you can see. We finally get to our destination, a famous art museum. It's a kimono art museum. We weren't allowed to take a lot of photos inside, so I just have video from the outside grounds. But this is all part of the grounds of the art museum.
Are you hungry?
Yes. It was a really beautiful, sunny, warm day. After the art museum, my friend took me to Mount Fuji. How great is that? My first trip to Japan, and I get to go to Mount Fuji. We didn't hike up. You can take a road. They have a road that takes you fairly high up, fairly far up. We were about 2,000 plus meters up. I don't know what that is in meters and yards and miles, but 2,000 meters, very high up. You can see the top of Mount Fuji there. The shopping area.
Alright, we're at Mount Fuji in Japan. We are around 2,300 meters high. That's Mount Fuji. Shoot up there. My friend Chizuru is shooting the video. She's very talented, although she's not as talented as I am, but she's okay.
Shut up.
Here with my friend Chia, and they were both very nice to take me to see Mount Fuji. Thank you very much.
As you can see, we are very high. We are actually as high as the clouds. I've never been that high up before, where I was actually in the clouds and looking directly into a cloud. Pretty amazing feeling. Back at my friend's street in Tokyo. This is the view. From outside the apartment building. This is the neighborhood where my friend lives. It's a small side street off of another side street with a bunch of stores. You can see all the power lines and antennas. A lot of electricity flowing through here. Bye-bye. I went for a nice little walk by myself along the streets of Tokyo. I apologize for the camera shaking. This was before cell phones and digital cameras had video stabilization, so unfortunately the video gets a little shaky with my walking. But I'm walking through the streets around my friend's neighborhood. Again, I apologize for the shaky video. Oh my gosh. But I did the best I could. Coming up in about a minute or so, you'll see the following day I went on a tour, a bus tour with a tour group around Tokyo. My friend's apartment was very convenient and very easy because the apartment was only about maybe a 5 to 10 minute walk from the train station, so that made it really easy to get around. Plus, this was before a lot of people were taking video, walking the streets. So I was a little bit nervous and shy about holding the camera up so people could see I was shooting video. So I was trying to hold it low so I wasn't too obvious that I was taking video as I was walking around. I'm sure some people noticed anyway. A nice plate of fish. Not sure what I was looking at there, but something caught my eye. Unfortunately, you can't really see it in the video, whatever it was. But just walking along the side streets and back streets of Tokyo, trying to get the views that maybe some tourists don't get to see when they visit Tokyo because they just go to the tourist attractions. So just walking along some of the back streets, taking in some of the everyday culture and sounds and noises and sights. This is pretty much just me standing on a street corner. I don't know why, but I like to stand on street corners when I travel out of the country. I think it's interesting to see the traffic flow of foreign countries outside of the US. I guess because some countries are very civilized and they follow the rules of the road. And some countries, there are no rules of the road. They just kind of make up their own rules as they go along. And people will drive kind of crazy. But Japan is a very modern country, so people definitely follow the rules of the road there. But I still find it interesting to take views from a street corner and just see everyday life of that city. One thing about Japan and Tokyo, I don't think I saw any 18-wheeler trucks there. They don't have 18-wheeler trucks. You might see, I guess, maybe 8 wheels or 6 wheels or something along those lines, but you don't see 18-wheeler trucks like you have here in the US. They're definitely much smaller trucks. Although I think I did see maybe something that one or two trucks that look like they might be 12 wheels. Not that I'm a truck enthusiast, because I'm definitely not, but I saw a couple of bigger trucks, but most of their trucks there are much smaller than we have here in the US. Again, I apologize for the shaky video. Don't hate me. But I was a victim of the technology at the time. You do see a lot of vending machines out on the streets selling various beverages, soda, juice, a lot of candy. You can even buy, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but crepes. You can buy fresh crepe machines, and I think I have a good photo of one of them later on in one of these videos. But you do see a lot of vending machines just out on the street. And here's the next day, the tour I mentioned. Let's listen to the tour guide.
Traffic safety at the second stop, at the first stop, at the third stop. Then let me introduce ourselves. Our driver today, my friend, Mr. Kawasaki. Not Mr. Suzuki, not Mr. Honda, Mr. Kawasaki, our driver today. The best driver in the company. This means the best in Tokyo. This means the best in Japan. Because Mr. Kawasaki has no accident this year yet. This year yet. Last year, one. No, just kidding. Then I'm your tour guide today. I do my best. So this is my name. In Japanese, my name is Shima, and this character means island. So I hope you call me just Shima or Shima-san. As you know, san means Mr., Mrs., Miss. Then I'd like to ask you this. If you speak Spanish, if you speak Chinese or Korean, we can lend you earphones. As the brochure says, we have prepared Spanish or Korean or Chinese announcements. If you like, I'm coming to you. Who needs Spanish or Korean or Chinese earphones? So channel 2, Spanish. Shibuya Business Shopping Center. So today's number 1 stop is between Shinjuku and Shibuya Business Shopping Centers.
So whenever I travel out of the country, I like to spend at least one day doing a bus tour to see some of the local sites and attractions. I think it's a good way to see a lot of things in one shot, especially with a guide. Sometimes you can go on these bus tours, see some things you didn't know about or some areas that you didn't know about, and then maybe later on during your trip you can go back to those places on your own and explore a little more up close and in detail. So this was a great bus tour because I got to see some places I wouldn't have gotten to on my own, but I also got to see some places that I later on in my travel there was able to go to on my own and explore. So this is the Meiji Shrine. I hope I'm saying that correctly. For Emperor Meiji. He was emperor in about the mid 1800s to early 1900s. So from about the mid 19th century to the early 20th century. Him and his wife lived here, and of course many other people. But it was a great tour. They have a really beautiful garden, as you can see, with big koi fish. Unfortunately, it was raining that day, but there's nothing you can do about that. We were still able to go out and have a really good time and see some really beautiful sights. But this was the first stop on our bus tour. Beautiful koi pond. Where are you from?
Romania.
Ah. So you're going to hear a lot of really loud yelling and screaming. And I believe our tour guide told us that it was a martial art training going on. And the yelling was part of the martial art training. Different types of martial art.
Ese sonido del judo, una academia de judo. Oh, kendo, aikido, con palos.
Next stop on the bus tour was a stop at the Asakusa Shrine. This is also in Tokyo. It's one of the oldest temples in Japan. I think it was founded around the early 600. I don't know if how you say that, 600, but that's how long ago it was founded. Not completely sure what the entrance is, but I believe it's a way of purifying. Again, this is in Asakusa, pretty much in downtown Tokyo, not far at all from the Meiji Shinto Shrine. But it's just such an interesting city and interesting country. I mean, so many different, it's just such a rich history, such a long history. Here in the U.S., we think our history is long at, a little over 200 years, but 200 years compared to thousands of years is just no comparison. And everywhere you look, there's just some intricate, detailed, amazing artwork in architecture, paintings, drawings, reliefs, just amazing everything. Artwork that has been there for probably hundreds, if not thousands of years. Back on the bus, Gus.
Ginza, number 4 section, Ginza's most famous landmark, Seiko's department store, Wako Clock Tower. Then tomorrow, Wako department store, Wako Clock Tower becomes 78 years old. Tomorrow is Times Day. Tomorrow is Toki no Hinenbi. 明日が和光時計台の誕生日になります。So now we are approaching one clock tower. So Seiko's department store, Wako has a clock tower. Then from left to right, Japan's Champs-Élysées, Japan's Regent Street, or Japan's Fifth Avenue, Ginza Shopping Street. On the screen, this building, Wako department store. Now it's about 1:05. So from left to right, Ginza Shopping Street. Then for ladies, I recommend this store.
And that was it. Thank you very much. Here are some photos from this part of the trip. I'm fat. Going to Kofu and Yamanashi. Mount Fuji. Lunch after Mount Fuji. And my friend, the Buddha. Showing that we're not too far apart, at least in stomachs. Our tour guide. And this was from a tree. There was a big tree, and people would from all over the world would write you. It was like basically like an aspiration tree where you could write down your goals, things that you wanted to accomplish in life, things that you wanted to happen in your life, and you would write them down and leave them on this tree and on these boards. And legend has it, if you write it down and put it on these boards or on the tree, then they would come true. And here's one. But it says, I want to be international businessman, never give up. And that's it. If you want to see more, I have another video. In the next video, I go to a kabuki theater, and we go to a very large Buddhist statue